Oh, yeah.
Here, I'll give you a bear.
Okay.
Well, that's why I'm sitting here. I even got my glasses, and I still have my glasses.
It's big enough, right?
Yep, it is right now.
Oh, yeah, definitely. No, I've got the slides pretty big.
Good, thank you.
I attempted.
Right, and then when they are not playing with people because they're small, maybe they'll say, hey, I got that. Oh, we're not gonna kick anyone off because they're slow. Here's the business. We have a meeting, oh, this is our new model. Keep up, catch up, or catch up.
You're gonna have hard copies for your budget?
Hard copies will be on the website.
They'll become
So I'll put it on the website, the whole Did you fix them? Thank you very much.
Now they have what they want. Then we play golf down there, the golf course off 41. They redid. They tore everything down there, rebuilt everything.
Yeah, around a lot of
Very nice. You can spend money fast.
You have to use your own.
Wherever you want to. Dawn.
This wonderful year. Yeah. I gotta go get another 40 plus accomplished. You like me? Okay. All right. You don't make a. This January. It's June. I got a dog. We got a training, so she gets it on Tuesday. So my son got an Australian Shepherd dog, and so for the first time I saw him, so he lives south. Always comes to his heart. 4 or 5 months, and that's all in a while. Yeah, cool. And then like a month ago, since we were set, we got so. No, I am not. Oh. So I say that, I mean, that's a mix between, well, I gotta, not quite, I gotta take first part of that here, so that when we come back, when she comes back, she's just going You're right.
Well, good morning, everyone. It's 10 o'clock sharp. I guess we're doing something right with the numbers because there's not a big turnout here. We have 2 people on Zoom, and we are live streaming. So we also will have the PowerPoint presentation on the website this afternoon, along with the video. All right, are we ready to talk some numbers this morning? All right. Let's talk about our total gross operating revenues. This includes the golf and social. Our $9,794,299. The makeup of it is 55% social maintenance fees, 28% are golf maintenance fees, 12% are the restaurant operations less the cost of sales. The golf operations less the cost of sales that solely goes to the social operations is 4%, and then the administrative fees are 1%. The operating expenses are $5,051,000 of which 54% of the expenses are administrative. Then we have our golf course is 16%, our tennis is only 1%, our common grounds is 12%, our restaurant is 8% expenses, pro shop is 5%, and the pool is 1%. If you have any questions, just raise your hand while we're going through this. Payroll related is $4.7 million, of which 42% is the restaurant operation. 24% is administrative, the tennis and the fitness. Our pro shop is 11% and the golf is 23%. So you can see 48% of our operating budget is payroll related. I always ask this question, what is our electric, water, and sewer, which total is $264,949, of which the clubhouse is 47% of that, and the common grounds is 26% of that, and the pool is only 1%, the golf course is 16%, and the tennis is 3%. And we're going to go into detail on all these numbers, so this is just a little summary. Our total employees, we have a total of 56 full-time, 5 seasonal full-time, 36 H-2B, 24 part-time, and 10 seasonal part-time employees. That gives us 131 employees with an equivalent of full-time employees of 114. Looking at the trends of CERA, it's usually 10 members to every employee. We're at 11 members to every employee. Our hot water contract is a 10-year contract in which we have an increase May of this year of 4%. That equates to $38.64 increase in your dues just for hot water. The annual increases are 4% all the way through May of 2024. There's no increase in 2025. 2026 is a 3% increase, and in May of 27 through 29, we have a 2% increase. Our liability insurance is $278,981, which is 6% of our operating expenses here. As you know that I wrote about, we had over a $54,000 increase, which you probably see on your roofs that you all got replaced, that you're getting your premium notice now, you're having a big increase. All of our contracts I negotiated along with the managers. Rick Roberts, our landscaping, had to do a 3% increase. The reasoning why? Minimum wage has gone up. It's gone up to $11. Next year, in September, it goes up to $12. And reminder, the following year, in 2023, it goes up to $14, then it goes up to $15. So this is going to continue having an increase because it has to pass down the expenses. Our computer support with Pulse did not give us an increase. Preserve maintenance, once again, for the 5th year, did not give us an increase. Our payroll services with CertaPay, with our 3rd year, no increase. Lake maintenance, no increase as well. Our irrigation maintenance is a 3-year contract, so they couldn't give us an increase. They did give us one in last year, 2021. Our cleaning service went up 11%. Reason why? Chemicals have gone up, along with the labor. Food service, the chemical increase we had that you'll see. Our gate attendants and the rover service per our contract that we signed a year ago, we had a 3% increase. Our audit with RSM and tax return is a 3-year contract, which will be negotiated next year again, as long as the Finance Committee wants to remain with RSM. Our indoor-outdoor holiday decor, 5% increase. Shipping costs tripled. Get all their product for all of the Christmas decorations. We're seeing it across the board, even our delivery of our food. Now we're starting to get a shipping service charge. And our AC and refrigerated maintenance, no increase, which I was surprised because we've got some lower paid employees at that level, so I was surprised we didn't get it. So I'm concerned that next year we're probably going to get a double increase, probably about 5%. Our health insurance with Florida Blue ended up overall at 1.9% increase. along with our insurance liability, directors and officers and workman's comp of 28%. Any questions so far? Am I good pace, or am I going too slow, too fast? Okay. All right, let's break down the employees. Let's start in the administrative department. We have 10 full-time employees, 1 seasonal, 2 part-time, and 1 seasonal part-time, so we have 14 employees. Myself, Donna, the controller, membership services manager, Amanda, administrative assistant, Kaylin, maintenance manager, David, maintenance helper, Ernie, maintenance part-time that you see on the weekend, and then we have our fitness director, Jody, court sports director, Todd, our tennis professional, seasonal, Kevin, our pickleball, which is Courtney, and our tennis court maintenance with Amato, and tennis court maintenance part-time that we just received a new employee on that, and of course, our pro shop merchandiser, Ernie. Administrative expenses are $3.8 million, of which 29% of it is a payroll invoice.
Good.
Can you put your silence on mute, please, up in Zoom? Our gate attendant rover is 7%, 33% is our hot wire. So last year when everyone was talking about the increase, why was it so high? You're gonna see as we go through, I broke out the hot wire out of our dues so you could see it separated, the increase. But you actually had a savings overall because you no longer had to pay for internet. So you should have saw, some members said they saw a $90 to $100 savings a month on that. Our liability insurance is 6%, our utilities are 3%. And then we have $827,000 of miscellaneous, that's 22% of it. Of which, let's go into detail. What is that $827,000? What does it take to run administrative operations? You have your bad debt write-off of $5,713. We have 1 household that will be going into bad debt write-off. Cleaning service is $100,962. Our copier, postage machine, printing is $49,000. Our building AC maintenance is $65,355 a year. Our computer support is $108,000 to have all of these POSs working throughout the whole facility. Our legal, H2B legal, our legal for 3 Oaks Parkway extension is $101,000. Our base fees on a monthly basis comes to $20,900, which was a great savings 4 years ago when the Finance Committee said we're no longer going to take credit cards from members. We're only going to do member charge. That was a savings of over $50,000. Our special events that we have is $65,000. Our decorations, $25,600. That's the decorating inside the clubhouse and on the outside of the clubhouse. And our telephone service is $14,000. We have our audit and tangible taxes of $32,700. Our supplies in the bathroom for soap, hand towels, the floor cleaning, the sprays, that all comes to $65,000. Continuing in education and travel is $10,000 to keep the managers up to date on a yearly basis of what's the trends, what's happening, what's going to make it unique here. Direct TV is $11,000. Our employee incentive, that's at the end of season, the H2Bs and the staff get a bonus for how well they worked. You want to give an incentive to, especially the H2Bs, to come back. If we didn't have the H2Bs coming back this season, we would be in bad condition. You can't find employees. You hear it on the news, it's no joke. They come in here, they don't show up, they hardly can write their name on applications. So we're very fortunate to have our H2Bs that came back. And we have entertainment, $27,960. That's the Tuesday sipping entertainment, and every Friday during the season and during the summer we have one as well. Our association dues and our licenses, $17,803, along with pest control of the building. Our gate transponders of $10,500, and we have $45,616. That's a component of another 15 line items that are small. Let's move on to the department of our common grounds. The common grounds is all of Legends Boulevard, not going into the neighborhood association. The irrigation pump station costs $82,174. That's to maintain and utilize the pump station to get the irrigation on the common grounds as well to your communities, the neighborhood communities. The fertilizer and the pest control that we use throughout the facility on the common grounds is $83,269. The landscaping and tree trimming and our mulch that'll be coming in a couple weeks is $199,472. Note, all of these fees are negotiated. I try to work with each of our purveyors, trying to keep the costs down as much as we can. Then we have our preserves and our lake maintenance, that's $65,670, and it's $69,834 for our electric, water, and sewer. So we have a line item of $106,100 of miscellaneous. That is for the annuals planted that we have, and in a couple of weeks, we're going to be getting that English garden like we had last year. That was beautiful. It's $25,500 a year to have 3 different annuals planted. Colony Point and Eagle Ridge, that we have to coming from Lennar, we have to maintain the preserves in that area. We have to maintain the slope and the lake that is there that goes to the 6-mile slope. That amount is $12,000. Our fountain pump maintenance for the fountains are $8,600. Gate repairs, $5,650. Our lights, our signs, our flags are over $9,000 a year, as well as our tree and shrub replacements. When we get something hit by lightning, or they're just starting, some of the shrubs are starting to get woody in areas, they need to replace to maintain the beauty that we have throughout the facilities. The aerator maintenance is $5,200, and then the repairs and maintenance on the common grounds. When the gate breaks down, or when at the gate guardhouse something seems to happen or goes down, extra repairs of the irrigation that's happened, it's an ongoing expense. We have to maintain our backflows with a license that's $1,750, and that comes to a total of $106,100 of our miscellaneous. Our court sports and the pool category. So the court sports, without the payroll, all the payroll is in administrative expenses, is $64,732. We have our electric and our water, which is $8,900. We have our supplies. You know, you have to have your court supplies, your sand, all of the different things on the gate that they hang on is $22,408. Our repairs and maintenance on the courts of $15,563. And I want to make note on that, on repairs and maintenance. With having Todd with us, he maintains the courts to a level along with the machines that we do our own aerification, that normally every 3 years on our reserves, the cost of that is $33,000. We do it in-house to maintain it ourselves. So it's an actual cost savings that we just keep rolling it in our reserves. Our club events, $7,600 when we have pros. We have our different clinics that we have to keep the excitement happening on the court sports. And then there's miscellaneous of about 6 categories of $10,000. We look at our pool, it costs $78,109. The attendance is December 20th through April 30th, and the holidays is $23,016, which equivalates to about $17 a home per year. Our pool cleaning service is $33,840. Along with the repairs and the maintenance, the heater goes out, some of the functions are not happening, is $13,470. And our licenses and our water are $7,783. Any questions so far? Just see if anyone on Zoom. No questions, there's still only 2 on Zoom. Our fitness expenses. As you know, we have outsourced classes with Fit Forever, but this coming year, Jody is going to be doing 4 classes a week. That was a savings of over $15,000. The Fit Forever that we hire is $54,640. And then we have our Kids Corner Craft. That's during season, a couple days a week of $7,980. If you've had your grandchildren here, you've all taken them to the pool, you've all loved it that they're coloring, they're making special decorations to take home to Grandma and Grandpa. And they're actually putting a little sparkle in their eye to remember how great it was at Grandma and Grandpa's, and taking that home and can't wait to come back. Our supplies for the fitness is $4,475. The equipment repair that we have in the gym is $4,200. I did not increase that, but our equipment is getting a lot older, so we're just not replacing it unless you look at the repairs and they start to be to the point we should use the reserves to replace it. Our AED training is $1,500, which note while everyone is here, the AED down at the range is still out of order. They're back ordered due to not being able to get the parts. There's a sign down there, but if someone needs help, as a reminder, there's one in the pro shop and at the pool. Powerhouse is an expense of $5,000, along with 4 categories of miscellaneous of $4,075. So now let's move into our food and beverage operations, which is mostly all the payroll, that's most of the overhead operations, which look at our restaurant income. The food is 65% of our revenues, $1.3 million. Our liquor is 13%. That's where our major category comes in as a revenue. So then you have our beer, and wine, 87%. Our unmet foods and 2%. Our cafe is 3%, and our soft beverage is at 2%. You break that down to have what's the gross profit after the cost of sales. 60% of the revenue ends up to be the food. Our liquor is 14%. Our wine is at 9%. Our beer 8%, and our soft beverages at 2%, and the cafe is 3% of the revenue that comes in. And then the other $45,000 is the unmet food minimum. The restaurant expenses are $2.4 million. 84%, over $2 million, is for restaurant related, for the payroll. We have our LP gas, which is 2%. You have your laundry and your linen, which is 2%. You have your supplies, all of the supplies that are the to-go boxes, your plastic forks and spoons. You have the supplies of the foil, the things that are all needed to cook with, is $113,000. Our entertainment, that's special entertainment that we have, such as when we have our welcome back party next week. That welcome back party, that band will come out of the entertainment there. And then under other miscellaneous is another 6%, which I'll go into detail. But note, the service charge of 18% of our total revenues equates to $356,659 that comes off of the payroll and related. Because we have a service charge versus a gratuity, we're able to pay our employees a higher rate to keep them here and offset that rate. It only makes logical sense to have the service charge because so much as just today, setting up all these chairs, taking all the tables out. If we weren't paying them a higher rate, they'd say, I don't want to do that. I want to be where I can make some gratuity tips out there. They're in here. So the setup, the takedown of all these meetings in the rooms. And as we know from the strategic plan, one of the most things that we have is we do not have space. And if we would get the space, it would eliminate some of this overhead of taking up, taking down throughout the whole day. The miscellaneous of $143,476 is our decorations when we're having special events, your party flavors that are on the table. Employee meals, the managers do receive the employee comp meal, but it's a special menu for them. The other employees receive a 50% discount off of their meals. Our employee training and certifications is $10,190. You have to be certified when the health inspector comes in here that you have got the manager's quality of making sure that the temperatures of the food, the back of the house, front of the house is clean. We have our repairs and maintenance of the equipment along with rentals, which we did increase, and you'll see in more detail that some of our equipment is getting older and you do have to repair it. Our license and permits to have our liquor license, which we hold 2 of them, 11C and a 4COP, is $2,470. The complimentary coffee that you have at the snack shop every morning until 10 o'clock is $5,350 expense. And your complimentary snacks, which is your Ruffles potato chips, your little crackers that you have, is a cost of $14,463, which we did bring that down in the budget because we're not offering as many snacks now since COVID. And our service agreements on our equipment and the cleaning of our hoods is $15,622. And then we have our time clocks. Everyone has to punch in utilizing their hands. Trash removal twice a week during the season, sometimes 3 times a week, depending on our large events. It's $15,500. The uniforms for the shirts to be presentable, $11,550, along with bank charges, which is 16.9% of our sales that happen in the food and beverage operations is your guest reciprocals. They're paying with a credit card that's at a 3.1% rate of interest of $10,379. And then we have other about 16 line items that total to $10,451. Everyone, no questions? So the cost of sales. We do a cost of sales of 45%, but 48% during the summer of June, July, August, and September. There's a lot more waste that happens due to the fact you don't know who's going to be coming in and participate. They might be going to the Sunset Grill. We're having a special buffet here in the dining room to offer, and you might do the buffet during the summer for 50 people, and only 30 come. Well, that's waste. I know the House Committee right now is talking about a reservation policy, and they'll convene that next month, because they had one yesterday, of possibly talking, if you're going to sign up for the buffet, you sign up ahead of time, so you're guaranteed that buffet, and then we'll do a few more, maybe 10 more, in case we have walk-ins that want to have the buffet. That will help eliminate some of the waste. But we have to remind yourself that at all given time, you have to have your chicken, you have to have your steaks, you have to have everything ready, you have to have your vegetables prepped in order to be ready for those that you don't know are coming. And at times, that is waste. What I did do on Chef's line item, I added a waste category. The stuff he physically throws away, we see in the garbage on a daily basis. He logs it, and it usually just goes in the cost of sales. So now I put it to a separate line item. We can see how much waste actually had to get thrown away. So if we look at the gross profit in the restaurant operations, is almost $2 million. The amenity subsidy is $1,205,867 for the year of the loss, which equates to $934 annually per member, which is $78 per month is what you're subsidizing to have the food and beverage operations open. Employees, the back of the house, those are all, we have executive chef, executive sous chef, a pastry chef, a chef de partie, three full-time cooks, 8 HTB seasonal cooks, 1 part-time cook, 2 full-time utilities, and 3 seasonal utilities. So they have 22 employees, which 10 of them are full-time, 3 are seasonal, are 8 H2B seasonal, and 1 part-time. The employees that are in the front of the house that you see is our director of food and beverage, Lisa, our food and beverage manager, Andrea, our dining room manager, Michael, our beverage manager, David, and then we have 2 full-time bartenders, 5 H2B seasonal bartenders, 2 full-time servers, 8 part-time servers, 22 H2B seasonal servers, 1 full-time runner, 1 H2B seasonal runner, 4 part-time food runners, and 2 part-time seasonal hostesses. So we have a total of 51 employees that are in the front of the house. And then we have the cafe, which we have 2 part-time year-round girls out there and 1 part-time seasonal. The total restaurant employees are 76, which are 19 full-time, 36 H2Bs, 3 seasonal, 15 part-time, and 3 seasonal part-time employees. How did we make up? If you have 83% of our budget for the food and beverage, over $2 million. Renee, how'd you get that number? We actually do a work schedule, so I try to put something here that you can kind of read. But we actually, every day, every month, take a working schedule to say who's working, how many hours they're working, what is their rate of pay, what will their rate of pay be if there's an increase, especially if it's due to the increase in minimum wage, in order to come to an overall per day cost to operate the front of the house and the back of the house for our payroll expense. If our payroll expense is over, or if it's way under, we look at our budget to say, where did we go sour? What happened? You know, was there a lot of overtime? What was the reasoning why? And so we do it for the front of the house, and we do it for the back of the house to show just exactly when they're off, when they're working, so they know the schedule for the whole year already. So then you say, all right, you've got all this revenue you came in. How did you get to that revenue? So we go month by month, and we put in, this is for the month of April. So you can see bingo, we're saying we're going to have 2 bingos in April, and we're saying we're going to have 113 cover counts, and we're charging $18. So the total revenue for that day is $4,068. You can see our Luau Club Championship, which is on a Saturday. We're saying that we're going to have 190 events, in which $32 a head. We didn't go aggressive. The reasoning why, we are still in COVID. So we could say we might have 250, but with COVID, some people are still like this, whether they want to be at large events or not. We then go and say, in the pub, in the dining room, exactly how many covers that you're going to have. So we know we have 2 Sunday brunches, and we know that we're going to have the breakfast that it shows there is really those that are ordering from the breakfast menu, which is the egg special on the Saturday. So you can come through, we go to the terrace. So we're saying in the month of April, we're going to have 3,845 covers total, which equates to $185,955. And that's what we get moved over into the revenue category. So if we go sour in the revenues, where do we go sour? For the month of October, our revenues were all $7,000 for our food. First thing I did yesterday when Donna gave me the preliminaries, I said, $5,000. We budgeted the dark dinner party. We didn't have it because we didn't feel we would have been ready to have it at this point. And also bingo, we were more aggressive on the amounts we would have. We had 130, which really was 76. So there's a reason why we know where we went sour at every given minute. So the coverage that we budgeted for in 2022, that means how many seats, but in the seat that order food. If you just order a drink, that's not a cover. Are 93,796. That's an increase of 1,560 covers from 2019. I did not use 2020, 2021 numbers because we're in COVID. So I'm hoping that we open the Sunset Grill in December of 2018. I'm hoping we're going to have a year like we did in 2019 with some normalcy. So if we look at the comparison of revenues from the budget of 2021 this year versus what's proposed to the master board, the administrative expenses income went down $5,789, and I'll tell you how and why. Our golf operation was an increase of $24,610 of revenue. Our retail operations less the cost of sales was a $566 increase. Our restaurant less the cost of sales was a decrease of $40,629. So our maintenance fees, which are proposed, would be an increase of $197,523, which is a 2% overall increase. So if we look at why does administrative income go down $5,789? As you can see, we have a retail capital contribution when anyone sells their home. That's $4,000. This year in 2022, per the Finance Committee from 4 years ago that the board approved, every year we decrease $500 of that $4,000 from the operating income to go to the new social reserves. So total amount of $26,400 is going to a different bucket, use social reserves, so we have less income. Our transfer fees, I am proposing to go from $250 to $350, and that's within the Beekman. The Beekman average is $350, and that brought an additional $20,000 in. Other income increased $353. That's the stop fees, late fees, rebate revenues that we have. But I want to talk about rebate revenue. Donna on Monday came to me and said, Renee, we get rebate revenue if we pay on a virtual card. So you're paying like on a credit card, but it comes out of your account, so it's not a real credit card. So with that, Donna said, we pay the Hotwire with a virtual card. And Hotwire sent us a letter that we got over the weekend, says we're no longer going to take that. But we'll take it, but we're going to charge you 3%. Which, that's $1,000 we budgeted for that we would have the virtual rebate. So that's $12,000 of expense or revenue coming in expense we'll no longer have. That is not in this budget. So when we have the Finance Committee meeting on Wednesday, we need to discuss if we're going to take that revenue that we talked about of $12,000 and make a change to the budget. That would change it, that would have an impact of a $10 per year increase. Yes?
Question. That was not in the contract that we signed, but that would be a perfect contract with our.
No, you just take whoever can possibly take this virtual. It's not a contract. It's just like you going to the bank using your debit or credit card. And now they're going to charge a fee for it when they that they were taking. So that's an impact of $12,000 on this budget. That's not accounted for. It's brand new. Then if we look at green fees, member guest fees, because we changed to 2 seasonal rates versus 3 seasonal rates, it brought in revenues of $29,500. And our three-year trends, guest renders, reciprocals, and merchandise, less the cost of sales, had a decrease of $4,324. And if the restaurant less the cost of sales of $40,629, I raised the budget $20,000 since we raised the food minimum $100 to be $500 a year. The soft beverages, September through December, we lowered. Right now, the Finance Committee, you can even see it on a monthly basis, we take a percentage of the sales and say, what percentage will be wine sales, what will be liquor, what will be soft beverages and beer. They've been off all year. So we adjusted to that and did a reality check because this year it was out of sync. And we lowered our covers in 2022, which made a $29,305 difference. So our comparison of our expenses now, note in yellow, I have the Hotwire, which is 4% increase in May. So with a Hotwire increase, it's $49,200 of the expense increase. And in administrative, there's $151,209, and I'll talk about what those increases are. Our court sports, compared to this year's budget, had an increase of $5,959, along with the restaurant had a decrease in expenses of $17,643. Our common grounds had a decrease of $6,243, and our pool and fitness of $3,609. So overall, the expenses in the administrative social budget had an increase of $178,873, of which 1.9%, but 0.7% is the Hotwire, with an increase of expenses of 2.6%. So the administrative had the $200,409 increase. The biggest categories of increase are cable and internet, went up $49,200. Our strategic plan, we don't have one this year, decreased to $48,125. Our live streaming, which we're doing this year, has been out of budget because the board approved to start live streaming so you can watch everything at home, is an increase of $16,704 because we didn't budget for it this year. Our payroll related an increase of $86,554, along with our liability insurance of $47,550 for the social operations side. So you can see we had to go wireless with our alarm. That was an increase of $4,000. Our base charges, $2,400. Our cleaning service went up $10,218. Our bad debt write-off went down by $5,227 because we had two in bad debt write-off before. Our computer support with Club Essentials, which is our POS system, went up $5,949, along with our continuing education due to the fact that CMA conference is not in Tampa, that it was supposed to be this year, it's in San Diego. Our AC maintenance, because of more repairs, we increased that $5,300. And you can see legal, 3 Oaks Parkway, our attorney felt that we could decrease of an expense by $10,000 because we're trying to come to an agreement. Where we are with the 3 Oaks Parkway extension right now is they agreed, the county agreed, the roundabout idea. But where we are is who's going to pay the difference. I don't remember. Do you remember, Bill, what that letter said, the difference?
Well, it was, the difference was offset by the potential savings over time. That's where we disagreed.
Yeah.
We was going to go up X amount of dollars, but then over time, they were going to save that maintenance.
So
That's what our civil engineer.
we're trying to negotiate that because they would like us to see the cost split to 3 communities. Well, I can tell you already, nobody wants to do that. Our gate attendant was at 3% increase went $10,062. Entertainment shows an increase of $9,360, in which that's just a bucket. Our Tuesdays, Sip and Tuesday, our Fridays, it was getting too confusing. I just simply switched it to the administrative expense, so the restaurant only has it for our special events like our welcome back that we're having. Copier and postage, thank goodness our lease is up October of this 2022. They're gonna pick up the copier, and we're gonna go and bid it all out with all kinds of different copier people to try to get a better pricing of it. Our building maintenance actually went down $4,300, in which we're, all of the lights in here, we went to LEDs in here, so now we're down to not needing as many, so we're good there. Our electricity had that 4% increase, $4,716. Our legal H2B had to increase of $8,545. It all depends on if you're in country versus out of country, the legal fees and all the paperwork that has it. And to have our H2Bs and be guaranteed having them back, which 10 of them are back from year after year. Romaine, actually, everyone knows Romaine. He would like to get a green card, stay here and work here full time. And our license and permits of $2,090. And if you look at our common grounds expenses, there was that decrease of $6,243. Every 3 years, our stormwater inspection we have to do. So we had a decrease of $19,735. 3 years from now, 2025, your budget's going to go up in common grounds because we have to do it every 3 years. And I think everyone can contest to this, that during our rainy season that we had, there was no flooding here. So it works having the drains cleaned every 3 years. Our tree trimming did have to go up $1,976 due to the fact minimum wage for his employees. Our irrigation, that's also had to go up to $6,500. That's where we have the irrigation expenses and repairs. We have that 3-year fixed contract, so the coastal irrigation, they didn't increase it, but the parts, delivery, and the shipping did. Colony Point and Eagle Ridge, that swell increased $2,000 from this year's budget due to the fact they had to increase their labor. And then we have 2 categories where there's $208 difference. Any questions there? See in Zoom? Nothing? We do have 3 people on Zoom now. All right, so let's look at the comparison of expenses to the budget for court sports. Court sports increased almost $6,000, in which we need 2 new drinking fountains, that's $2,400. We want to put up a couple new fans where we had our new awnings put in that we repurposed, that's $1,963. The electric and water went up, we have that 4% increase. And then a couple items, that's $301 difference. The pool and fitness was a decrease of $3,600, which you can see that the pool cleaning chemicals, the pricing and shipping went up $2,160. Our pool attendant did go up $5,736. Their employee rate was increased. Our pool repairs and maintenance went down $6,000. If we remember right, we had a special electrical panel that we replaced this summer, so we no longer have that expense. Our pool water is shared with Pro Shop 50/50. Looking at the overall averages during the last 3 years, we did have to increase the budget. Our fitness supplies did decrease by $3,775, and our kids' crafts did increase $2,880 in order to have that special touch and remembrance of being here due to the cost of labor. And contract labor did decrease $6,155. That's with the help of overall with Jody. And then we have different categories with decreases of $2,234. And one of the big expense reductions is Powerhouse. There's not going to be a Powerhouse large event. There's been set a day to have a large concert in maybe 2 or 3 years till they all feel comfortable enough to be together and have a large performance. Comparison of the restaurant expenses that went down $16,000 or $17,643. The main category, payroll related, went down $49,753. Why on earth could that happen? Well, I'll tell you how that happened. When the budget was done for 2021 this year, they had full-time employees in the summer that really are part-time employees, that we didn't have it. So if you looked at our budget or attended our finance committee meetings throughout the year, during the summer, we've been off in the payroll and under budget due to the fact that full-time employees were put into place versus part-time. So that has changed. Our decorations went down $5,300 due to the fact during COVID, we didn't have decorations. We can repurpose and use the ones that we had. Employee continuing education is down by $4,080. We're no longer sending a manager to BMI conferences up in Massachusetts. Promotions are down by $3,016. That's where our snacks, we felt that not having a third one seems to be helping. Our equipment repair shop did increase that $8,000. And our entertainment, that's just the bucket shipping into administration from the restaurant. LP gas, we all know gas is going up. Hopefully we're going to hit target. That's going to be an $11,522 increase. Our supplies, front house, back of house, china, glass, and silverware. We all know the products, you can't get them, they've increased. We've had to increase $20,000. Waste loss, that's the new line item I talked about, $8,400. And miscellaneous of $1,440. So the departmental amenity subsidies for the social operations are administrative at 62%, $3.2 million. The food and beverage is 23%, $1,205,000 loss. The court sports, fitness, and pool is 4% at $224,000, and our common grounds is 11% at $606. That comes to the amenity subsidy of your maintenance fees due. That would be billed across the table divided by 1,291 units. But possibly that might be changing by the $12,000. So everyone's kind of interested, what kind of special events do you have going on? We have beer tasting happening. We have high voltage party coming in January. Trivia, name that tune, wine dinner, Valentine's, an Elvis dinner party that'll be in here, the dining room. We're having a comedy tonight, a Scotch tasting, the Billy Joel tribute concert on the fairway, our end of season, and welcome back, Christmas dinner dance, breakfast with Santa, New Year's Eve bash, and then we're having the Friday night entertainment every Friday, January through April, or Sippin' Tuesdays. We actually are taking bus trips. We're doing seminars, doing fashion shows. We're bringing back art classes, bingo, the artisan markets, which you've seen out here, and fresh produce and fish that are also provided. that fresh, artisan, fresh produce and fish are no cost to us. So, is our food minimum going up? Everybody knows it went an increase of $100, so it's $500. And administrative fees, they're going to go up for the transfer for $350. Our retail capital contribution remains at $4,000, but all of the revenue now goes to new social capital. And our stop fees will remain at $200 as well. The proposed 2022 social due will have an increase of $153 for our maintenance fee, which is a 3.83% increase. Our annual social reserve is a deduction of $9, of which is a decrease of 2.2%, and our new social capital will still remain at $133, so there's no increase. So the quarterly social dues proposed are $1,171, which is a quarterly increase of $36 a quarter. And possibly, if we want to put the $12,000, it'd be a $10 more increase. Any questions there? That's the total social operations. So you can see there's a lot of detail that takes to run this community. A lot of overhead, a lot of expenses, but this gives you a full detail of every expense that possibly is here. Let's see if there's anything on Zoom. No. All right, so the 2022 social reserves. Now remember, social reserves are for replacement. So the items that our social analyst, Sedgwick, said that we need replacement possibly, and we only do it if we need it, is one of the cardio ab machines to be replaced, one of the adaptive motion machines, an elliptical, a life cycle, there's 2 of them, and 2 treadmills. So the exercise equipment total for replacement is $49,519. The furnishings and equipment. So they're saying the awnings at the patio cafe should be replaced. I don't think we want to do much of anything until we know where we're headed on phase 2. Defibrillators, one of them does need to be replaced. Furnishing and fixtures in the pro shop, I don't think we would do anything with that until we know what we're doing with phase 2. The bocce courts furnishings of $34,260. We just repurposed what we had out there and repainted all of the metal out there that you can sit on. It looks like it's brand new. So we're always constantly just hoping to roll over our social reserves for replacement. Same as our dance floor that we use is up for replacement. I think it's fine. I haven't seen anyone, saying there's wear and tear too bad on it. The POS stations in our clubhouse, that's as needed. When one goes, we just have to replace it. Our club televisions, we put those in 2012. They're due for replacement. Unless it stops working, we're not going to replace it. Servers, computers is a $30,000 expense. We do have to replace 2 of our servers. And then we look at the interior renovation and the decor. One of our AC units, Unit 18, I think it's not going to make it through the year. Our flooring in the pro shop, which we're not going to do anything because of phase 2. The flooring in the gym mat at the workout area, we won't do anything with that until we know where we're headed in phase 2. In the aerobics rooms, the wood flooring, I don't think it's in bad shape, and I think we can wait till we're headed on phase 2 there, along with the finishes in the pro shop and the finishes in the tennis restroom. Then we look at the master facilities plan of phase 1. All these items are on there for replacement. So you have the furnishings in the dining room, the activities room, the administrative. All of these, $613,503, can be used for our phase 1 to offset the cost. And you'll see that when I get to that. But all of these things can be rolled for phase 1 expense offset for revenue. And the kitchen equipment, different items. We have our coolers, our beverage items, kitchen table plates, solutions that we have, decorative lamps. I was asked what that what's decorative lamps with $6,384? We have actual heat lamps. They call them decorative. They pull down from the ceiling. They keep your food hot when we have a large banquet. Or when you're out here and you see the buffet with a carving station and the lights on it. All of that costs money and all of that has to be replaced as they don't keep their own heat. And you can see there's fryer replacements, hot boxes, kitchen miscellaneous of $10,000. We have that every year. The pots, the pans, the spatulas, different things, decorative items that we use as displays that just have taken their core of time that you need to replace. And then it shows different ovens of chefs, steamers and things. And the dishwasher water heater of $2,970 is up for replacement this coming year. Unfortunately, it just took a dive this month. So when we do the reserves for replacement with Sedgwick, our analysts, you send that in August of what you think you're going to be and what you're going to use. So instead of having your ending cash of what you think you're going to get this year that they use, it's going to have a small difference because I had to use one of these between August and December. And then we're up for exterior painting and pool and spa. So the clubhouse and fitness of $33,775 can be used as we need to redo our dining room. So with the long-range planning committee, they're talking about what colors to do for the buildings, of changing them. Nothing's been decided, but we do have the reserve that is not in the Phase 1 cost. So when you look at Phase 1 cost, it does not include painting or buildings, because it's in our reserves. And then you have the guardhouse for painting, the pro shop, which all that will be Phase 1. Then you have replacement of pool and spa furniture, cushions, umbrellas. That's as needed if some of them start to break. And our heaters for the pool and the spa. Then we have our security access control. This is at common grounds level. Do we want to take on a new project and get rid of the transponders that we have and go to something new and interesting? We took on that project over 10 years ago with Norm Quinn brought in actually the transponders that we have. But there is new, exciting things that you can have start, maybe can implement, but I think it's working, it's not broken. So we can just keep rolling that unless the Common Grounds wants to change that. Then the exit and entry gates for replacement if they no longer work, along with the motors and our surveillance cameras. Then the site improvement. I have asked the Finance Committee and the Master Board to hold off on re-asphalting, which was scheduled for 2022. I don't think it's a business smart to spend over $500,000 in re-asphalting when we're going to be redoing our golf course. All the heavy equipment will be coming in, the same as in our Phase 1, and whenever possibly we'll be doing Phase 2. So I'd like to have the seal coating done at $107,000. That will last us 3 years. The guardhouse roof is up for replacement. If you remember, we never replaced the roof at the guardhouse because it didn't need it at that time. So until we know that it needs it, it's still holding the old tiles on it, and we're going to leave that alone. Our entry sign that we have for Legends has a $40,000 redo. We touch up in-house. David Maxwell and his staff does a wonderful job and keep touching up the painting and everything. But, you know, maybe as we're going through some of these changes of the golf renovation and the Phase 2, do we want to do a face look at the front entry? As you can see across the street at Old Hickory, they're doing some kind of facelift. I'm not quite sure what it is. They have a banner over their thing, so we'll have to watch and see what they get. And then every year we have a lake bank 3-to-1 slope, in which I need to maintain the lake banks at a 3-to-1 slope to stay out of trouble with the county. So we're actually having the first one done in 2 weeks, the 3rd week of November, over $30,000 for this year. That'll be at New Hampton. So Mrs. Sutton, I know you're the president, so this is hot off the process yesterday. That work over at your lake bank is going to start around November 18th, but will be completed before Thanksgiving. They had their window before Thanksgiving, after Thanksgiving, and before Christmas. The staging area of the equipment over there, what they're doing is pulling some of the dirt and the sedation that was at the bottom up onto the bank, and then they'll be putting some littoral plantings on there to hold it, to stop some of the erosion that is in a few of the areas.
Everything,
Mm-hmm.
free to park any equipment you need in her backyard.
In your backyard.
She's fine with it.
Thank you, Mrs. Sutton. Then the court sports, the tennis court awnings are due for replacement, but I think they look pretty darn good. The tennis court rehabilitation, that's where I talked about that we save our money because we do it in-house. So this year, in 2021, we had a savings of $40,000 because we did it in-house, but we did have the expense of a little over $4,000, I believe, for painting of the white lines on the court. So the total anticipated 2022 social reserve expenses are $1.6 million. If we look at that, our social fund balance on January 1st is going to be about $1.2 million. Then we have in our reserve dues coming in from all the homes during the year of 2022, $514,920. If we take out the $1.6 million of the anticipated expenses, we add an aggressive interest income. I debate them every time it's said, like $7,119. I know we're not going to have that. But our projected social reserve cash balance on 12/31/22 would be $157,162. But so much of that I know that we're rolling over. So if we move to the 22 new social reserves, that's where it's $131 you're paying per year to go in. We have that $4,000 of resale capital contribution coming in. The board already approved that when the budget's approved, the combi oven, a roaster, a rotisserie, and soft serve ice cream machine can be purchased in January. So we're going to take $110,120 of things to enhance your overall member experience. So if we look at our new social reserves, we anticipate $2.1 million that will be in our bank account. You have your social new reserve dues of $171,000. That's your $131 per house. Our resale capital contributions now are up to $264,000. Interest income, which is not aggressive, of $2,167. Then the combi oven, the ice machine, capital purchase coming out of $110,000. Then you have phase one master facilities. That's the amount that we'll be using for new social that was approved of the $1.6 million. So we're going to be using the $600,000 that we had in decorating and all that in our replacement for the carpet in here, the furniture, everything. And all the new stuff where the lighting and the ceiling and everything that they're doing, we'll use from new social, but it will still give us a balance on 12/31 at the end of next year of $876,628. Does anyone have questions on that? All right, we're going to move forward to the golf operations. We're almost done at Province. The golf is smaller. I gotta let you see the picture. I had to work on that. All right, so pro shop expenses are $792,804, of which 63%, $500,000, is payroll and related there. Our cart lease is 12%, and the additional carts are only 2%. Our utilities are 3%, and our GPS is 4%. So of that, we have our miscellaneous 16%, $126,131, which comes to commissions, $14,820. Everyone asks, why do you have a commission in the pro shop? We don't have any merchandise revenues we get to keep. Per our declarations in section 15.8, is a section that, when we had our lawsuit with Lennar Homes, states in there, all payroll and related in a department for the golf operations stays there. It can't be put into social operations. Even though we sell merchandise, we take in revenues from reciprocals, Every time you buy a piece of merchandise, clubs, a ladies' wear, men's wear, hats, that's revenues coming in, a 5% commission is paid out to employee staff. Now, I know the Finance Committee did talk about looking at, instead of a 90% cost of sales, moving it down to 85, so that that 5% paying for commissions can stay at that point, so there's still just a 90% net effect, but did not move forward then. Our association dues, that's to keep our pros active at $2,000, are 32.9% of revenues that happen in the pro shop are reciprocals or your guests, and which equates to $6,184. You have your computer support, which is $19,000. That's for your point of sale prorated against all of what we have. You have your gin, you have your 14, there you go. Then you have the copier and post machine, which that leases up along with the one in the administrative office, that we're gonna take your equipment back and look at all of the different printers we have. And I'll use Mr. Huffman, who's had a printer background, to help us look at some of the obstacles we've had. Because with COVID, as you know, we stopped giving menus out. And all of those placemats that you're using, every time they have the double-sided, that is 4 clicks of color, because it's legal size. So you got 1, 2, and then 3, 4, and it's almost like 8 cents at every click. Our employee incentives of $10,500. That's where we broke out that end of season, and at the end of the year, give a small little bonus saying thank you for all your work that you've done for us. Ice machine supplies are $7,676. What happens with the ice machine supplies over there? It's a shared expense. Administrative-wise, in the social operations, we pay for the repair of the ice machine over there or the replacement of it. And the offset is every time that the cups and straws are used over there, that is an expense that is by the pro shop. Because you got people at the pool as well, so it only makes sense that half and half, that we share that expense. Then the insurance, or the liability insurance, increase of $5,197. Our range expense, an increase of $8,450. Office supplies, increase of $79. Uniforms are $5,000. Scorecards and pencils are $45. And then other miscellaneous expenses of almost $25,000. If you look at the pro shop, we have 7 full-time, 1 full-time seasonal, 7 part-time, and 7 seasonal part-time employees, which equates to 22. So you have Chad, you have his 2 assistants, part-time golf shop, the seasonal shop, part-time seasonal shop, 4 full-time outside services, and you can see the different part-time services and seasonal within there. And the golf operating expenses are $1.9 million, of which 57%, $1.1 million is payroll and related. You have your golf course supplies of 23% of $432,000. The insurance liability of $54,862. And our other miscellaneous, you have your equipment repair of 3% and your utilities. But the $235,807 of other miscellaneous is our building maintenance. You have your association dues, seminars, and education. You have your small tools, computers, employee incentives as well to take care of the employees. Contract labor that we outsource with our aerations, our supplies, debris removal, golf service, those are the flags, the tees, fuels and lubricants, our irrigation, tree trimming, and you have your telephone, you have your uniforms, our vehicle allowance to our superintendent, our wash rack, recycled water that we have, and then about 4 or 5 items of $17,000, bringing you to the $235,807. We have 20 full-time employees in the golf course that we have. Our director of golf course maintenance, our assistant golf course attendant, our equipment manager, our assistant mechanic, our irrigation manager. That was just a change. that we have Chris Amerheim. He's been here for 22 years. And at one point in time, he's going to start to retire, so we've got to start getting someone in there that when he does, can mentor into that position. So we didn't pay him a whole heck of a lot more, but we gave him the title. After 22 years, he knows more of this place of irrigation than anybody. And a spray tech, and then 14 laborers. So the comparison of golf course expenses, we had an increase in pro shop of $58,035 and the golf operations of $151,769, with an increase of 8.22%. As a reminder, the golf committee already approved this budget. It will be going to the finance committee this next coming week. All of these budgets are going to finance for the recommendation and approval to go to the master board at their November 17th meeting. The comparison expenses at $54,876 increase was payroll related in the pro shop of $42,350. That's the minimum wage. Reminder, $11 went up this September, next September goes up to $12, and that increase keeps happening. We had the 4% increase in electricity of $3,000. Our ice machine supplies are increasing $2,000. Range expense of $1,500. Our computer support did go up with Club Essentials, which is care expense, and all other is a decrease of $22. And the golf operating comparison of expenses, payroll related went up $121,170. It's hard to find workers. You got to pay them. You know, McDonald's is paying $15 an hour. If we're paying $11 an hour, you're not going to get anyone here or stay. We finally have a full crew at this time of 22 workers. 20. Contract labor went down by $10,300. They're going to do some of their stuff in-house. Chemicals and fertilizers did go up $35,000. Chemicals, supply, demand, shipping. Our insurance, their portion, went up $13,924. Travel and education went up $10,000. Equipment repair, decrease of $4,000. And most of you would say, we've been talking every month about the equipment in rough condition. We're over budget this year. At the end of the year, we'll still stay within budget, but we feel that we can bring the $4,000 with our mechanic, who wrote his part of the budget. Golf service is a decrease of $3,200, pine straw $3,700, and $6,800 of miscellaneous. So then we move, is there any questions on the expenses with the golf operations? No there. Golf course equipment reserve. So you're paying $212 annually per membership for the equipment repair, and not repair, but replacement. So our projected golf course bank balance will be $55,872 on January 1st. And our equipment reserve coming in is $175,960. And our anticipated equipment replacement that has already gone in to be ordered, because everything's on backlog again, and we're probably not going to see that equipment till April or May, possibly, of $226,000. So you can see we still have a positive cash flow of $5,782. The equipment that was approved is a Toro Pro Force debris blower. There's 3 of them. And then we got a rough mower, a cart, 2 different carts, a sprayer, and a Geo-Link site access. I don't know all the verbiage what it is, and a bunker machine. So the 2022 golf reserves are up for replacement. The ice machines on the golf course on number 6 and 15. The tee markers and signs of $49,000. I don't think we're going to replace the tee markers we're doing golf course renovation in 2025, which they are talking about possibly doing it in 2024. The reasoning why is they feel pricing is escalating 10% per year. They feel getting a bank loan to offset that a year early will be in a money-saving benefit to the golf members. So the analyst of the, golf cash is $2.1 million is what we will have on January. You have your golf reserve coming in at $588,000. The golf reserve expenses of $64,000, and an aggressive interest income because we're not gonna get $16,000. So you can see that the golf renovation that is planned for 2025 does have enough cash so far to get us, and I'll show you a actual, analysis of that. So you can see there's an increase on the golf maintenance fees of $253, your reserves is $67, no increase on your equipment. So overall, your quarterly golf dues increase is $80 a quarter, with your quarterly golf and social dollars, dues is $116. Q&A. Anyone have questions?
Renee, I don't know if I missed it or not, but what does it cost to have the 24-hour security up front and then the rover guy? And I think his hours are from 6 o'clock at night to 6 in the morning.
They are 7 to 7.
Okay.
7 to 7. And the detail of that, hold on. Time code. Oh, it's under gate attendant. Aha. Okay, so the security that we have, the total amount is $263,260, of which the, regular hours, I will have to break that out for you. We have a contract with them, so I know it was even brought up at the finance committee by one of the board members to do away with a rover. So I don't have it broke out here because with the contract that we have, it includes the rover. So what I can do is put that as a question when you exchange.
You
Okay?
said it was like 260
$263,260 is the cost
for the year.
for the year.
Okay,
To
thank you.
have the security in the rover, but you asked for rover expense, and because it's a bundled, contract, I don't have the rover broke out by itself. So I think that was your question, right?
Well, yeah, that's fine. Thank you.
You sure?
I'm good.
Okay. Donna, can you write that down to the rover? Anyone else? A lot of numbers. Yes?
Just quickly, as you look at, and thank you for all the detail. Okay, first of all, thanks for, the hard work, all the detail.
Thank you.
Impressive. But as we step back and, we look at the overall financial performance of the Legends, are there any particular areas where you feel, either on revenue or expense, the Legends operations is doing an outstandingly, wonderful job and well ahead of where other maybe similar communities are? And likewise, are there any areas where you feel our expenses or revenue maybe aren't as good as what they should be compared to other communities? And I know that's a very broad question, so,
That's okay, I got an answer. Okay, first of all, if you start comparing us to other communities, such as the trends report that we have on the website that we get every year, that are audited financial by RSM. You need to know their culture. You need to know how many members they have, how many more acres that they would have. We ourselves, our cost of sales compared to drinks, I think most of you probably went to reciprocal clubs. How much more did you pay for a drink than what we have here? Our culture of here is to keep members inside the gates to stay here to wine and dine. So we might have a larger cost of a loss of subsidy in a restaurant, we possibly have a lot more landscaping acreage that we have to maintain along with the preserves. As far as the restaurant operations, when you look at the trends, it's 799 members, we're 1,291. So it's a big difference when you start to look at that, but if you break it out in acreage, which I have done 1,000 times, there's a difference, so culture is huge. One of the things that you also need to, when you ask the question, where are we doing better or worse, we're in a COVID year, we have been for the last year and a half. The food and beverage operations, the revenue wasn't there. Was it an aggressive budget that the former clubhouse director had? Yes, it was. Did we make it? No. Did we cut expenses where we could? Yes. Did we have payroll overstated in the summer of full-time employees when they're part-time employees? Yes. Are we going to be better than budget in the restaurant operations as of right now? It's $138,000 positive. If you look at all the other departments, we are right where we need to be. There's even the resale capital contribution is coming in the sales. Things are selling within the hour they're put on the market. So I think we're headed in the right direction. I think we're very positive compared to most of the clubs. We're debt-free. We have stability with employees. Yes, we had some changeover of some employees, but with all good reasoning why to advance. That's what it's all about, is to move a step higher. I think we're in great shape, and I think Tim, what do you think? You see the financials?
Excellent shape. We, like I said, no debt. For you to, and Donna to work through our budget, and with the changes that we had, I mean, there are things that are gonna happen. We had payroll increases. The, insurance went up, and Hotwire contracted. If you really look at it, those are the three main factors that affected the money, and then you and your staff massaged it so that, we minimized the level of additional expense to us, but also maintaining all the services that we want. I mean, the main thing, the question is, how do we significantly reduce the amount of money we pay in dues? And that's reducing the services, because I think you and your staff do a great job of watching every penny. You can see by the analysis you did here, you can see by this top-level report, and then all the hundreds of pages you have behind that, of the level of detail that you and your staff go through. So I am very, I've done this a long time. I am very happy, and what you do and Donna does, is a great job. And I appreciate it.
Thank you. Mr. Cotton.
I think I'm going to say this correctly, you can correct me if I'm wrong. We keep talking about Hotwire and the increase. Remember that prior to Hotwire, we paid about $40 a month in our dues. That was already there. It went from 40 to 70 initially. That $40 was also subject to a 4% increase annually, correct?
Yep.
So what you're seeing is really 60% of the Hotwire increase in your dues would have been there regardless. Maybe more, okay, because we'd have to renegotiate that contract. In addition, we are seeing savings at an individual level, which, if you didn't buy anything extra, you hadn't seen any increases in that several years.
That's correct.
Right? So just be careful when we talk about Hotwire as an increase. It's an increase to the social dues you're paying, but on a household basis, it's really probably less overall. As Renee said, most members are saving somewhere between $60 and $100 a month. So just point of clarity.
Hey, Mike, I'd like to make another point. With Hotwire, now that we have all the services, we're controlling it based on 1,291 units. So I think that we can control the increases, whereas before, half of it was done through the community and half of it was done individually, the internet side. And us individually, we cannot control what they charge us for internet. We're going to pay what they tell us we're going to pay. But as a unit of 1,291, we have more control and more power going forward.
I forgot to mention, also, again, you know the numbers better, but within Hotwire, they have given us several services that we used to pay for, now we're getting free.
That's correct, you get some of the channels. The one we don't go get is what's that home show everyone likes.
HGTV?
The HGTV, you don't get that yet, do you? I don't think so.
And Hallmark.
And at the time we negotiated that contract, we had gotten, an average of what people were paying extra for, Comcast. And the average across all of the doors and ledges was $85 a month extra. So we used that kind of like our jumping off point. Personally, I was paying $120 more a month than I was. And a lot of people that I knew did the same thing. When we did the original analysis, I think it might have been Bob McDowell that did it, the savings to the Legends people on average is over $1 million a year in extra charges that we don't really have to pay. And it's hard to put that in everybody's pocket for them to understand it. If you were paying, like myself, $120 more a month, another $40 is sure a lot better. You know, and I happen to have switched over a couple other things like my phone, which I was paying $60 for the local phone bill, $25 now. My security, which I have security, it's also less. So the overall savings can cascade to be substantial. When you start to look at it as $1 million in savings thrown out to the Legends community, that's really the reason that we negotiated the way we did.
Changing that, I forgot to mention one thing when we were going through our reserves and talking about the golf renovation in 2025. The reason why your golf reserves went up is because we were at $4 million in order to do the golf renovation. It had to be increased to $4.2 million to go with the cost trends that said what you see. Any other questions? Well, thank you for coming. I wish I had a better turnout, but I guess they all think we did okay.
That's the reason, Renee.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
The only thing is what I mentioned, the $12,000 on that rebate revenue, which will be $10 more. The financial aid was they were hoping to
Okay, well, thank you.
The only thing is that you might want to talk about Thank you.